This is you, all right? And each one of us has a brain. This brain is the same brain that we had for thousands of years. Now, back in the day, when we lived in a much smaller society, small villages and tribes, we would have people in the tribes. And if people did not like you in the tribe, you would be removed from the tribe. So now you're sad and you are all alone. If you are removed from the tribe, the odds of your survival out in the wilderness are very low. So back then, if you were rejected by people, if people around you did not like you, in a very real way, it meant that you might not survive. It meant that you might die. So your brain perceives social approval as highly important to your survival. And it also perceives social rejection as a fear of death. This might sound intense, but that's literally the same brain you and I have right now. But now we no longer live in a society where if people don't like you, you will be removed from society and then you will die. That is no longer the case. However, when now, instead of being in a small tribe, now when you are speaking in front of an audience, okay? This could be your senior leadership, this could be management, this could be people who you don't even know, but you don't want to risk people not liking you. Your brain is perceiving this audience as a threat, the same way it perceived the threat early on. So in your mind is convinced, if these people don't like me, I might not survive. Therefore, this situation of speaking in front of an audience is threatening. Now, when we feel afraid, when we are terrified, what our brain prioritizes, okay? This is very important to understand. When you experience fear, your brain does not prioritize the retrieval of information. Meaning, if you were getting chased by a lion, and while you're running away from the lion, I asked you, hey, how much did you pay for your taxes last year? Or hey, what's the phone number to that pizza shop? You will not remember because your brain is so focused on running away from the fear. You see what I'm saying? So when you are in the midst of fear, you're not able to think. You already have everything in your brain, but all of a sudden you don't know what to say. So let me explain what's happening further in your brain, all right? So let us say this is your brain, and I want you to think about your brain like a hard drive, storage, okay? You have all of the experience in your mind of what to say. So when you're in a meeting, you know everything about the project, you have all of the pieces of information. Now what happens is, because your mind only has limited storage, it cannot focus on unlimited amount of things. It can only focus on a few things at a time. What happens is, now when you're in a meeting in front of your manager or superiors, you start to perceive this as a threat, as a dangerous situation. So what does your mind do? Instead of prioritizing this information, your mind says, hey, we are in danger. So all of a sudden, your mind starts to remove the information already in your mind and replaces it with thoughts like, what if they don't like me? What if I look anxious and people can tell? What if they think I'm stupid? So this is why when you are afraid and terrified and all you can think about is how you are being perceived, your brain is in survival mode and it cannot retrieve the information you already have. Which is why the moment you leave the meeting, the moment you get off stage, the moment you are no longer in a situation that you perceive to be dangerous, all of a sudden that information comes right back. Has that ever happened to you? You went on stage, you knew what to say, the moment you're on stage, you blank out. Then the moment you get off stage, all of a sudden, oh, this is what I was supposed to say. Or when you're in a test, you're really nervous, you don't know the answer. The moment you leave the test, all of a sudden you know. Why? The information was there, but because your brain was perceiving the situation as a threat, you could not access the information. So this is why when you practice and rehearse, the skill is there. But if we don't learn to manage how we view the situation, how we observe the audience, none of those skills will be beneficial because we can't access it. So what is the problem we're trying to solve here? What is the main issue? How do we fix this? Number one, this might be for cultural reasons, but number one, why am I threatened by authority? I want you to pay attention and really take 5 minutes to think about this. Why am I threatened by authority? If you look back for most of my students, whether you grew up and you had a parent who really wanted you to say things the right way, otherwise you would get punished. Or you would go to class and the teacher would make fun of you if you didn't have the right answer. So every step of the way, when you have someone who is in a superior position, you want them to like you so you don't get the consequences. So I want you to ask yourself, in my childhood, most likely in your childhood or early life, you learn that you have to perform a certain way to get people of authority to like you. If they don't like you, somehow your life will be negatively affected. So when you've had this experience in the past, what your brain does is it paints it to the future. So as a kid, let's say my parents, they had anger issues and if I did something wrong, they would get angry at me and they would yell at me. Now I'm scared of being yelled at. So now in the future, when my boss has requested me to give a project update, I am scared that if I speak up, they might not like me and I might get the same consequences. This is ingrained in our mind. It's not even a conscious thing. It's just how we've been raised. Because you're not born just being afraid of figures of authority. At some point in your life, you have learned that. So first ask yourself, what is it about my childhood that taught me that I'm supposed to be afraid of authority? And I know in my culture in Pakistan, we're taught, hey, your parents are always right. If you don't say the right thing, if you don't get good grades, you might get smacked on the face. Or if you say the wrong answer in class, the rest of the class will make fun of you. So what lesson did I learn? If I speak in front of authority, I might get punished, I might get embarrassed. Let me not say anything at all, okay? So that's number one. Why am I threatened by authority? Number two, what you can do about this. Number two is you write this down. Write down all your thoughts. So, remember how I said the brain only has limited storage? If when you are in front of an audience and you start speaking and now you start to think, will they like me? Am I anxious? Will I do well? Now you start to generate all of these thoughts. Your mind has to juggle between the content you're going to talk about, all of the speaking techniques you've learned, and now it has to worry about this threat. And it will obviously prioritize the threat all the time. So if before your presentation, you just write down, hey, what are some things that I'm worried about? And you write down, I'm worried that people will judge me. I'm worried that I will look nervous. I'm worried that I might forget, right? Even if you have rehearsed, all of this, it still happens to me. I'm worried about all of this. What you are doing is you are worrying about all of those things in advance. You are training your brain to expect this to happen. You're preloading these worries in your mind. Why would you want to do that? It's because by the time you get on stage, it is no longer a surprise. Your brain has already thought about these issues. It already knows, hey, I'm a little worried about being judged, being forgotten, being nervous. You just list it out and it gets familiar. You know what to expect. Then when you go in front of an audience, you still feel like you might be judged. You still feel like you might forget. But because you've already dealt with the emotion of that, as you're speaking, now you can remember more of the material. Now you're not as worried because you pre-worried about that. It's like if you've ever seen a horror movie, the first time you watch it, you don't know where all the jump scares are and you're terrified. But the second time you watch it, it's still a scary movie. It still has all the scary scenes. But because you've seen the movie before, you know where all the jump scares are. You know exactly what to be afraid of, and now it doesn't bother you as much. Now you watch the same scary movie 50 times in a row, eventually it becomes so predictable, you know exactly what your body is going to do, that the feeling no longer comes up. Yes, it's still scary, the movie's still a horror movie, but you don't feel as scared because you know what to expect. That's the idea. So, what should you do? One, tell yourself, hey, what I'm experiencing in this moment, my brain thinks this is scary because it thinks it's trying to survive. This is a biological thing in my mind. If I do this enough times, if I go into the meeting and I just see this is not a threatening scenario, all of a sudden you will calm down and you will be able to access all your skills. Everything that you have rehearsed, everything that you have memorized, all of the information that you're already good at, it will just come to you naturally. So the number one thing you need to prioritize is calming down. Calming down. Okay? So first, no one's better than you, no one's higher up than you. Explore. Just because I don't know your background, why are you afraid of authority? Then write down your thoughts in advance. Pre-write them down so that they're familiar, and by the time they come up, you're not really bothered by it, right? So if you had a bully that would come up to you in school and say, you're terrible, you're ugly, you might be a little surprised. But imagine you had a friend who said, hey, when you go to school today, there's going to be this person who's going to come and say this to you. I just want you to be ready. Now when it happens, it doesn't really have the same effect. You still feel it, but it doesn't bother you because you already knew what was going to happen, okay? So these are two things. Now, on a biological level, what I'd like you to do, when people get anxious, okay? When people get anxious, they speak extremely fast. Their mind is in a chaotic state. To my presentation, I'm going to talk about So point number one, notice how my mind is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour and I'm just scrambling. You don't want to speak from that perspective because then you'll just be nervous forever. So what you want to do is remember, your body, your mind, your words, they're all connected. So you want to slow everything down. The moment you get asked to present, the first thing I want you to tell yourself, slow down and pause. Because when you slow down, the words come out slower. And by the way, they won't be so slow when you say them out loud. In your mind, you think you're going very slow, but you won't be going very slow. So slow down. What this will allow you to do, your brain will relax. It'll have more time to think. It'll have more time to feel the anxiety and write out the anxiety. And as you're breathing and you're going slower and slower, you'll calm your body down. Naturally, when the threat disappears, you think, hey, my brain was perceiving the situation as a threat. It is no longer a threat. I'm calm and control. All of the information will come to you. And by the way, this still happens to me. So I have to tell myself, Yasir, no matter what, at the start of your presentation, the first 60 minutes, your mind is going to be racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Literally the only thing I am saying in my head when I start, slow down and pause. Slow down and pause. So you slow down and pause, your mind gets relaxed. When you are relaxed, it no longer perceives this situation as a threat. So it is not a threat. When it is not a threat, now you can remember what to say. You look confident and you're not worried about blanking out. So all of this, if I were to summarize what to do, one, understand that this is the biology of your brain. It is trained to be afraid of people because at a certain time, human beings needed the approval of other people for survival. We no longer live in that world, but our brain is still the same. Number two, understand at what point in your life did you learn that you have to be afraid of figures of authority? Was there a consequence when you were a kid? Did you have strict parents? Did they want you to behave in a certain way? If I do this, people will like me. If I don't do this, people won't like me. Oftentimes, especially in my culture, kids are trained. If you get good grades, then I will love you. If you don't get good grades, I will not love you. If you say something stupid, I will make fun of you. So we've trained ourselves over time, and now we're afraid to talk to our bosses, superiors, and crowds. Write down all of the thoughts so that they become predictable to you. If you already know what your mind is going to do, when it actually happens, it is no longer scary. Go extremely slow and pause so you are relaxed. You no longer see the situation as a threat, and that's how you will remember what to say and speak confidently. So, Nevada, that is how you can speak to strangers. That is how you can speak to your upper management and leadership without getting anxious. I hope that helped out. Now, if you would like to learn to speak like a CEO and do it in record time, check the video description for our resources and classes. I'll see you in the next one.